Welcome to the Spacebook for the start of your Easter bank holiday. And Easter like no other. The sun's out, but we are not. So I thought I'd invite a few people around, get a drink, and watch some telly. You might want to stick around for this. Lots of you I know have already seen Rebecca Gold, the web series, the multi-part web series, a mega geek production. And there's one geek here, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. And we're gonna be joined now by the mega geek himself, the guy whose bright idea this was all. And here he is.
Am I?
If I can get him. Yeah, he is. Yeah, oh, here everybody is.
Everybody's on.
We've got a screen full of guests here. This is the cast and of course the creator and director and writer of Rebecca Gold itself, Ian David Diaz. Hello, everybody. Say hello.
Hello.
So
Just about here, Alison.
Yeah. Well, Ian, you're going to be my handler for this whole evening of entertainment, aren't you? Handler from a distance, from well over 2 meters away. We're going to talk about your wonderful web series and the making of it and the fact and the fiction. Yeah. We've got there's Paul Costa here, who played Dr. Drew, Keith Ailes, who played Hamilton. We've got Katie, who was 9, Rebecca Gold herself, and Alison Collins, who was Jackie Roberts, aka Boo. That's right, isn't it?
No, it's the other. Katie's known as Boo.
Katie's Boo. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
So you've got three names then, Katie.
I do.
You've got 4. Because it's Rebecca Moderax as well. God,
yeah.
No wonder I'm confused. Yes. So we're gonna get cracking. But first of all, I want to know, Ian, when did you first have the idea for Rebecca Gold, and how long was it before you started contacting all these good people and circling them for various parts? Did you have them all in mind beforehand?
Well, I've told the story so many times, and Katie knows it like the back of her hand as well. Me and Katie was moaning once. We went to lunch, or was it dinner? I can't remember. And we were moaning about life. And then I just said, we were moaning about our careers. And I just said, let me just write something for me, and I'll write something for you. And, and we'll get it done, basically. And then 7 years later, we shot it. So that's how it started, really. And how I got these guys involved is that I know I've worked with Alison before. Mm-hmm. And that was a long time ago, Alison, right? That we worked with each other.
I think I was early 20s then, Ian.
Was you? So, and I know Keith because I've worked with Keith on Bad Day and obviously Rebecca Gold. And
I think I was early 20s as well, Ian.
Did you, liar? and how I got Paul was just by accident. I was looking on Facebook and I saw, because you were one of my friends and I didn't realize you were one of my friends. And then
we've got a mutual friend, haven't we?
Yeah, that was it. And I went, he looks a bit like a doctor. So I contacted him, and that's how I got Paul. But the other, but Keith and Alison, I've known forever, basically. So I wrote those parts for them. So it was just Paul and Katie.
Some of you had worked together before then, and some of you hadn't.
Yeah.
And of course, you're not all in scenes together, are you? This whole production took. How long did it take to come together? Who remembers? How long was it between when you first heard about it and when the film was finished? Any idea?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Years.
I remember Ian calling me about it, and I was pregnant with my second child. So I remember having a discussion saying, "Well, I've got a bump now," and then I think I'd had the baby, so I think I had about an 18-month-old when it started filming. So it was a long time from when we spoke about it to filming, and then it was the actors' availability, wasn't it? That was the getting everyone together.
Yeah, I remember, Alison, that we came to your home when you were, nursing the kids.
Oh,
yeah. And we did a read through. I don't know whether you remember that. Ian wanted to hear it, so we just did a read through, and I think. In fact, I played all the male characters for the read through.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I had the kids running in and out. Well, I had a newborn in my arms, didn't I? I think most of the time.
Yeah.
and my husband put some food on for us all.
Yeah. Oh God, I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
That
And
was a
that
long
was the
time
first time I
ago.
met Katie, the first time I met Keith, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
So it was front line and front room filmmaking then.
there you go.
Sorry.
Gradually pulling it all together from car parks and people's kitchens and all over the shop. Ian's already told me a few stories about how he managed to make it all happen, and it really is quite a story. I would imagine there's a story behind telling every story, you know.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, because of all the geeky references and all the action, and I think that the specific tone, that unique Britishness about it, I think this is why people have latched onto it. This is why it's caught people's imagination. Certainly on YouTube, we're getting so many people talk about it and share it, and people certainly want to see some more. So yeah, we're going to jog your memories now by having a look. We're going to watch it through in the other window like this, and yeah.
Oh, is this like live commentary?
It's exactly like live commentary. We're not going to be able to hear it. We're going to be able to hear you. And yeah, we're going to kick it off now.
Good God.
Oh,
Who's that?
straight in.
Well, listen, we can't. I mean, there's going to be no sound, isn't there? So
No sound. No.
there's no sound. So just going to be watching it like this.
This is
Does that mean we have to try and say our dialogue within?
No.
You've got to remember it.
When we
You've got to
go on the
remember it word for word, Keith. This scene, Paul, Katie, this scene is really, really interesting because there's so little. The dialogue's quite sparse, isn't it? There's a lot of body language involved. And I thought, isn't the Katie to sort of create this character from the first scene, even though it wasn't probably the first scene you shot?
Yeah.
How much work do you put as much work into the body language as you do the dialogue?
Yeah, because it in some ways, because with Rebecca, kind of the way she holds herself and the way that she, like her energy and everything, I had to try and tap into that because she's quite different from me. I'm quite girly and I'm not really very physical. So it's kind of like a bit of a challenge to be like, okay, how would she, how would she stride, because I felt like she's more of a strider than me. Yeah, so it helped that the physicalization stuff really helped me get into character. I liked having my little scar. That always helped as well. I felt like her when I had my scar on. And this stuff actually with Paul, that was the first thing I did shoot. That was the first weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Filming. So this was my first, because I think as time went on, I felt more like, I think I was quite nervous on the first day because it's the first time with the character.
First day nerves.
Yeah. So, but we did, I think, 2 days. By the second day, I was like, yeah, I feel all right now.
Creating this hero from the ground up, because I mean that's what struck me about it. Full of the way that she sits down on that sofa. It's sort of a bit of a grumpy teenager kind of thing going on, all legs and attitude.
Yeah, she does have like a sort of a little bit of a teenage sort of way with her. It's kind of an interesting. She has like really. Sometimes she uses really like old references, like she'll talk about Highland and things like that, where I didn't know what it was and I had to look it up. I was like,
oh yes, we'll definitely.
So she'll remember things that like, older things that, and then other times she's quite young and she talks like she's sort of 17 or something, so it's kind of like she's quite a contrasting character, I found, and that was interesting to work with. And
the look, the signature look of the character of Nyan with the red hoodie and the leather jacket and the jeans and the trainers, how was that put together? Is that something you had a certain say on, Katie, or did Ian come to you with all that? That was all Ian, really. The look was Ian. But I was very comfortable in it, if that makes sense. I was happy with what Ian put me in, and it felt right for the character, but it was all Ian's. I think Ian always visioned the red hoodie. I think it's an ET thing, isn't it, Ian? Yes, ET. Yeah. So the idea behind it is that she's a geek, so she'll be wearing things from films. So the hoodies from ET, the jackets from Terminator 2, the gloves is from Laura Croft, the jeans is everybody wears jeans, and the trainers are from David Tennant's Doctor Who.
So that was the idea. That was the idea for the costume that she
pulling in from everywhere. And was all that completely lost on you then, Katie?
No, that was because Ian told me about it, so I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, I liked the costume. I felt very kind of at home in it.
It's like, because one of the gentlemen is about to throw you around the place in a few minutes, isn't it? It's got to be a lot easier to move it. A lot easier to move in that. I like all these visual effects that are on screen there, Ian. How was some of this? Was all of this? Was that a visual effect as well?
Yeah. It was all of it is a visual effect, as you can see. My friend, he didn't want his name on the film for some. And then there's
Alison.
and there's Alison.
Are you a dancer by any chance, Alison?
In my
Nice
in my
mood
head,
walk.
Yeah.
Having fun on the set. No, because I was wondering, because obviously we've seen Dr. Drew's laptop as well. The symbol on the laptop, apparently that was a visual effect. There's lots of things that Ian since told me were visual effects. Yeah. But I was looking at the costumes here, the things that you guys are wearing, and the gentleman in the blue suit there. That's really striking as well. The blue suit with the red tie. Was that chosen? Sorry, as a deliberate contrast to what Nine's wearing?
No. What happened was one of my friends, my friend Jamie, was meant to play that part, and he couldn't do it for that weekend. So the guy that did the making of, Tony, was his friend, and obviously Tony's my friend now.
That's Tony Lawrence, isn't it?
Yeah, Tony Lawrence. And Tony Lawrence came in that gear. He came in that gear, which kind of mirrored Katie's costume.
Dr. Drew got to crack a smile there.
Well, that was lucky.
Yeah, it was.
I think Dr. Drew is very much the hero of this piece, isn't he, Paul? Let's be honest. That's how I view it. You can forget about the rest of them.
He's the grumpy old man in this.
Yeah. Was there any pizza in there, Alison?
That was the cruise lunch.
Yeah. I wasn't.
Oh, she's gone mute, Alison. Oh,
sorry. I was just dealing with my daughter just came in. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
We was wondering if there
wasn't any pizza in there, unfortunately.
And whose was this house that you're filming this in? Was this a real house, or was it like studio space somewhere?
It's it was an apartment. We I can't remember how we found it, but it is an apartment. It's a real, somebody actually lives there. There's a stairs that you don't see that goes up, and there's his bedroom.
They knew about this, did they, Ian?
Yeah. No, after we tied them up, we told them what we were going to be doing. So yeah, no, yeah, we definitely paid them, I think. Yeah. So there you go. But they were really nice to us. They're really nice. So.
But the cutting between the scenes that goes on in this, and the way the narrative is divided. How many of you? I mean, presumably you got the script well in advance, didn't you? Was all that apparent to you when you were filming it?
Yeah, I had a plan. I didn't go in there with no plan at all. I knew exactly.
There's the scene. Now that's got to have hurt Katie. How was that? How was that having the glass bottle broken across your head? Did that split second timing? Was that?
It's a bit nerve-wracking. I'm not. That's the first time I've ever been smacked with a candy glass bottle thing, whatever they're called. I smacked other people with them, and I found that less daunting than having someone do it to me.
I think volumes.
You can still cut.
You what?
You can still get cuts from them sometimes,
You can,
the bottles, yeah.
You still got to be a bit careful.
This is where Tony takes one for the team. Oh dear. But obviously obviously the bullet holes were visual effects. The kick in the family jewels. Well, yeah. How hard did you kick him there, Katie? Oh, this is the gun. I mean, handling guns and things. We saw a table full of guns there. Obviously, they weren't active guns, were they? They were replicas or molds. Ian, how did you get that?
Well, I mean, one of them was a real gun because we threatened the crew with it because they wanted to leave. So not really, not really. No, they're all Nerf guns basically.
Here we are with the crash map. Who was the map for? Is that for when Tony was going down? No.
It's for Katie. For Katie. Yeah. She did well that day.
I like that you got a mat.
You had a mat as well, Keith.
No, not always.
Yes, you did.
Oh yeah, because there you are on the bare floor, so you have to.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it's weird watching it back like this with the behind the scenes. I haven't really seen this.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Ian.
That's me
right
directing.
right on the floor with you, yeah.
Me trying to direct. And that's the thing you wore, in it, Katie, with
The harness.
the harness, so they can.
Yeah.
Was that just so Tony could lift you up easier? Was that?
Yeah, I think it's so because he's got his arm around my throat. Essentially, it was so he could pick me up safely. So my harness was actually attached to him. So I was attached to him.
Right.
That bit when he's lifting me up, I'm actually like the harness is attaching me so that he's not actually putting any force on my neck.
So he didn't really throttle you. Yeah.
No.
Movie magic.
Because you do wonder watching these things, because obviously it seems so close. I suppose this is the job of the director, isn't it, Ian, to make it seem closer than it is in the way that you do things in camera, but also of your cast to sort of work together.
The thing is, I didn't write something that we couldn't do. I wrote something that was slightly challenging, right? Yeah. But I wasn't stupid enough to write something that was not possible on the budget to do. Everything you see is possible on the budget that we had, Yeah. That's what
How many times did you make poor Tony go down on his knees like that?
3 times, I think. I don't know, Kate, was it 3 times? Can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot, I think.
Yeah. And Alison had to act in slow motion. No, not really. Yeah.
Poor Jackie just walks into all this, doesn't see Alison. She's going about her business, having a bit of a dance.
Yeah, I know. It's like poor woman.
This is the character that I think when you watch the thing, this is the character that everybody can relate to, who just sort of stumbles into all this. Yeah. And although there are aspects of Nine that I think people can relate to, and maybe some of the other characters too. But I think Jackie in particular, as it all sort of opens up to this sort of bewilderment, because she doesn't recognise her at first, does she? And it's sort of a gradual thing that you seed into the script.
Yeah. I think she. Sorry, I'm just kind of sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not distracted. Just my daughter keeps coming in.
No, it's okay.
That's all right.
Sorry about this.
Ian, go on. Sorry.
Carry on.
Well, Ian, I saw Ian was working on the storyboards there at the same time.
No, I wasn't. I was marking them. Not everyone we did. I was marking them off. That's what I was marking them off. I did the storyboards the night before.
And how long were you at this location for? Do you remember?
2 days.
2 full days.
2 days, yeah. 2 days. There's Alison trying to get out because we weren't going to pay her. She realised we weren't going to pay her, so she was trying to get out.
That gun looks like a modified gun. It looks very sort of sleek.
Yeah, it's
almost.
Modified. Yeah,
almost. What would you call it? Like a slim, so it could be hidden in a clothes, like an assassin would.
Yeah. We got a gun for her. We gave it to Katie, but it was too big for Katie's hand, so we had to find a gun. Who's laughing there?
Me.
Yeah, so we had to get a gun to fit her palm because Katie's quite small. And we found one. So that was.
I like this business here between Dr. Drew and Nine Paul. How he barely looks up until she starts actually speaking to him, rather than just coming out with the one-liners and things. He barely looks up from his computer, does he?
Yeah, that's right. That's what Ian wanted. It's also opposite to what Katie was doing as well. So she's this big bubbly character, and Dr. Drew's very still, looking down at the computer. So it's like yin and yang, which comes across on the screen quite well, I think.
Yeah. And then Katie kept making a mistake as well. It's so good acting opposite somebody who's good, like Katie. It really helps.
Oh, Paul. Thank you. That's so sweet. You were really helpful to me. I was really nervous as I said, that first day. And Paul's really great to work with. He's very generous, and he's very present with you and does everything he can. Like when you're doing your takes, he's still exactly going for it, just as he. Some actors are lazy and they don't give you as much when they're.
Oh, don't talk to Keith about that one.
Scripts.
But Paul's not like that. Paul's very, he really brings it every time. When he's on camera, when he's off camera, he's still. So it's lovely to work with Paul.
No, thank you.
It's a very urbane character as well. Yeah, there is something sinister about him, but the fact that he's so understated that's ever so slightly creepy. And of course, I've seen that you've done some prologues to these as well, haven't you, with various characters, sort of stitched all together a little bit. But yeah, it's all in the body language.
I wanted to make him a little bit creepy, especially right at the end. Do you know, when he goes up to her? I wanted to make him really creepy. When he does,
because they say that 2 or 3 meters apart, don't they? You know, the counsellor and the.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the standard situation.
At the end of that scene, he goes over and he becomes very creepy when he gets down to eye level. But it also justifies what happens after that. So you want the audience to want that, I think. So it's quite good, you know.
Oh, now she's in a boot. How long are you in that car boot for there, Alison? That doesn't look very comfortable.
You know what? It was actually quite comfy. I was
She fell asleep.
Sort of cushion underneath, couldn't they?
That's my car, by the way.
Is that your car? Is that your car, Keith?
Yeah. That was was it your Keith?
It was Keith's car, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was Keith's car.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it still is, in fact. But unless it's got nicked where it's been parked for like 3 weeks, you know, without being moved. Paul, you and I actually first met when we did those prologues, and that was some time after the shoot, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, because we never met until because we worked different days, didn't we?
That's right. So we didn't meet until we shot the prologues, and the prologues was way after the main shoot.
Yeah, that was way after. Yeah, I quite enjoyed those as well, actually.
Yeah,
there was a two-hander between you two, wasn't there? In that
there was three-hander. It was me, Paul, and Ben.
Oh, Ben, that's it. Yeah, I was just thinking Ben. Yeah, that's it. I quite enjoyed that scene. I thought that was nice. How can you see that? You can't see that on the series, can you? It's not attached to the web series.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube channel. People can see it.
It's on the channel. Oh,
yeah,
right,
it's on the channel.
So how much? Some of this was done with green screen, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Katie and Alison. Some of this action. So were you pointing your guns into thin air there, or did you know where people were going to be, or was all this actually in the car park? Can anybody remember?
This was all in the green screen, wasn't it?
Yeah. So some of it was in the car. But we did like the green screen of all the inside stuff with me and Alison in the car. And then later on, we did some like an extra day probably in the car park where we did the scenes outside. And I think we then did some pickups of us in the car. I think the stuff with Alison in the boot, because there wasn't room for Alison to be in the boot when we did it on the green screen, because it was a really small studio and the car was like almost touching the edge of the studio, so we couldn't really like do stuff outside of it kind of thing. But it was cool shooting in the car park.
Oh, here we are. And then you got the biscuits as well. So that was what Ian threw that in, did he, as lunch for you all?
Yeah.
Generous guy, isn't he?
Oh, you
generous at last.
But this is what strikes me, because it is uniquely British. That's how it seems to me, and scenes like this are a prime example. There's the dialogue and the fact that you're eating biscuits and you're having this sort of, in a sense, it's a really bizarre conversation, ladies. But in another way, it's a really naturalistic conversation as well. And I think it's down to the work that you both put into the characters. Really, it really comes to life.
I remember it being really warm in that car. You girls were. I remember Katie wanted to take her jacket off because it was so warm in the car. Do you remember that, Katie?
Yeah.
Quite hot.
Sorry, what you say, Alison?
Yeah, that was in the summer, wasn't it? When we did the car, both car scenes, I think, were in the summer.
Yeah.
And then some things were shot sort of in the winter when it was, really, really cold. So it was like,
well, this is some movie. Yeah, this is some movie magic, because it's my car when it's in the garage scenes, but the car that you shot the green screen stuff, which you did first, wasn't actually my car. No. Unfortunately, my car was close enough in terms of shape and look that you're able to cheat it. But if you look closely, there is some subtle difference.
Yeah, there is a major boob in this, which is the head rests are not raised. They're raised in this shot, and then when you get to your car, Keith, they're down. So that's a continuity mistake there.
Exactly.
Nobody notices it though.
By the way, guys, I'm not sure how you respond to this live stream stuff, but hi Daniel. He's sent a thing saying hello.
Cool.
And
Hamilton
he's
is
put
my
that-
favourite character, he says. And
Oh well,
it's
obviously,
Oh,
it's only
I didn't see
pack
them.
of gold. It's all about Hamilton.
Sorry, we say, Katie?
I hadn't realised there were comments on this thing. I didn't see that. Oh, that's cool.
If you go live
Oh,
comments, click on the
yeah.
live comments, you'll see them. You'll see them.
I'm not sure how we respond to them though. I don't know whether we can. Can we?
I can, but I
Oh, well,
just
there
have
you
another page up. You have another page up.
All
I just
right.
go, hi guys again.
Well, I've said hi anyway.
Yeah.
So
Hi, Dan.
how much makeup staff did you have on this? Because obviously, Katie, you mentioned the scarf. Was that comfortable to wear? Did it take long to put on? It looks quite nasty.
It was, it wasn't too bad to put on. Like the makeup artists were really good who did it. The only thing was sometimes we had different makeup artists, and so then there was trying to match it.
Match it to a
Barbara was
photograph.
like our main sort of makeup artist. She did the and she did the initial scar that then everyone was kind of trying to copy. But yeah, it was. Everybody had different techniques. Most of the time, it was kind of like this kind of wax that they stick on and then paint. And as I said, for me, I quite liked wearing it. I felt kind of her with it on. I sort of felt a bit naked without it. And the
It looks like part of the costume, really. I think because she's got it on for the majority of the film.
Yeah.
It matches the flash of red.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to give a shout out to Barbara actually, who was our makeup.
She was good.
Yeah, she's
artist.
amazing.
Yeah, she was good.
She's lovely.
Yeah. And with the costume for Alison, I remember me and Alison went to the shops. Do you remember that, Alison?
Yeah, we met in Croydon, didn't we?
Yeah, trying to look for a costume for you.
Because I had no idea what sort of, we were
Yeah,
just kind of raiding the shops and putting some ideas.
yeah.
I went to Primark. He said, just get 2 of everything because you're going to have to lug all the way down there. So, all right. Just make sure it's cheap.
Yeah. Oh dear. I mean, I remember this day. This day it wasn't too taxing that day. It was quite a lot of fun. I think, was this the first day we worked with you, Alison?
I think it was. I'm trying to think back. I think it was the first.
Yeah, it was.
Together. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I remember that. It was the first day. That was the first thing that Alison shot on the green screen stuff. So that was cool.
I'm looking at that pen there, sat on the clipboard. And I'm thinking, this isn't gonna end well, is it, Paul? It's not going to.
Poor old doctor. Poor old Dr. Drew. Yeah, that's a nasty way to go out, isn't it? I think you got the point. It was a good end, wasn't it? Like that.
You got the point.
Here we have the flashback scene. This is the bit where Edna Mode glasses, aren't they? Putting you in a pair of glasses that size, Katie, I ask you. Half as big as your entire head, aren't they?
Was that a Tango and Cash reference, Ian?
No, yeah, more or less. No, it was just the usual geeky girl that was. It's obvious that when girls are pretty in movies, they always put glasses on them to make them look ugly, and it doesn't work at all. So I thought I'd go that angle with Katie, basically, just give her some glasses. So kind of works.
What struck me about this, I mean, it's firstly the brutality of this action. This makes you go every single time. But again, the look of your character, Katie, the look of Nyan, you've got. Was there a big anime influence in your head as well, Ian, when you were putting this together?
More or less, yeah. I like anime. I like the design. I'm not a big fan of anime cartoons, but I like the way the characters are designed, the suits and and then the outrageous costumes and stuff like that. I really like that. But yeah.
I like how it's shot as well, how behind doors and from behind point of view over the shoulder of somebody. But
it's quite small in there, though.
At this point, Alison, you're her crush, aren't you? You're the object of her desire.
I am.
And so you're this sort of spectral presence in a sense, albeit in your hockey top.
Yeah, with my name, just in case we forget who I am.
Yeah, but nobody notices the number. The number on Jackie's shirt.
Yeah. Look at his leg twitching.
Was that slightly speeded up when you done that with the?
Yeah, just slightly.
Just slightly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you go back, Paul, sorry, Dan, if you go back to Jackie's scene with Jackie, see what numbers on her uniform.
There we are.
There you go.
As in Agent 9.
She's in red.
Nice.
Easter eggs.
There you go.
Easter.
It's Easter,
Is this news to you all as well, or did some of you know this and others not?
No, he doesn't give
I
away
knew this.
secrets. You sure?
I'm not sure.
We get to watch this gentleman get a pasting again, don't we? This is a fantastic scene, and you know, this is obviously it's performing as well. But Ian, the way this is directed, how tight you keep it to make it look like this really does hurt.
Yeah. That's Matthew, isn't it? That's Matthew.
He looks exhausted.
Oh, how cute are those two?
Oh, by the way, my number plate isn't really Jedi bitch. So somebody's asked if that was added afterwards. Yeah.
Keith, you've just lost cool points here, mate.
I know it should have been, especially with my mug. Especially with my mug, right? It should have been Jedi bitch.
Loving the mug and Ian's Batman shirt there. It's all.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Eat, sleep, and drink the Mega Geek.
That is Kate. That's not even my picture. That's Katie's picture. I think the one that she took in the loo. So.
Yeah, poser. I was posing.
So see this scene here. Basically,
you've done that before, Katie. I'm sorry. You've done that.
She has. Yeah.
Anytime. You don't want to mess with me, man.
But that's a false perspective shot. Really, there's like a big sandbag that she's smacking there. So she's not really hitting him. She's hitting a sandbag. Do you remember that, Katie?
I do. It's quite fun. I enjoyed doing that.
We have to ask the gentleman if he enjoyed it. We're back. He's back from Primark. We're back
from Primark.
I had to have two the same tops and jumper.
But I remember that day, Paul. That day, we were going to shoot you first.
Yes.
For the first day, but Katie was insisting that we shoot her, so we had to turn around and shoot all of Katie's stuff first, and the next day was you, Paul.
But I actually prefer that. So I was very happy because I get a chance to rehearse it. You know, it's just a preference. Some people like to go first, do all their close-ups. Yeah. I like to go last or second because then I get to rehearse it. Do you know what I mean? So it suited me anyway. That's what I'm saying.
Somebody said, "How did you make Katie cry?" I said, "I poked her in the eye."
Nice moment. This is particularly, you know, obviously when
creepy
here, and then he crouches down, and they get the creepiness. Yeah, he breaks a little smile there, Paul. You horrible man.
Horrible, nasty man. I wanted to get right in her face, and then it justifies this action.
Ouch! Oh, I felt that. Oh, that's not good.
So I had to go backwards and fall in the chair.
Yeah. Hit your mark.
So, hit my mark. And you got to think we had one real go at this in a way because we got only one shirt and tie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had two goes because we had two lots, I guess. So
yeah.
So we had to time it, fall back, and boom. You know, for the master anyway.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, go ahead.
I loved it. I thought it came across so well. It's like, it makes you think, ugh, horrid.
You get a little bit of pus coming out, don't you?
I was saying, can't we have blood shooting out like?
No, that was the thing. That was the thing.
Enough there.
We didn't want it to be too violent. We wanted it to have violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we in real life, if somebody did get stabbed, there'd be blood everywhere. It'd be spurt and everything. Yeah.
Is all that done? Is all that makeup or some of that digital as well, there, Ian?
It's digital.
The blood.
Yes, digital.
It's a nice job.
There is a mold that she made herself.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
And then the blood was put in after.
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting scene. There's a lot of visual effects. There was a lot of visual effects involved in this, wasn't there, Ian?
Yes, there was. It was the hottest day of the year we shot this in, and Keith can contest to that, and Katie as well, and my nieces.
Well, this is where I ended up being crew, wasn't it? Because we were so pushed for time, we had to get that green screen shot done. So Yeah,
Keith
I was feeling really bad for Ian at that point, and I was like, right, what can we do to help?
Yeah, nice of you, mate.
Yeah.
Christmas in July, was it?
Yeah,
In July,
yeah.
Wearing leather.
Yeah, look at that sweet face.
2 fingers up.
2 fingers up. Yeah.
And you see what it says on the go. Can you go back to that page for us?
I can.
Dan?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody notices this stuff because Alan put it in. So this page here, you see what it says, Keith? You see who's signed off by, Keith?
Is it signed off by?
That one or the previous one?
No, the next one. Just press play. Just press play.
Okay, there we are.
While we're doing that, a big shout out to Alan, actually, because not only is he a great DOP, but he helps with a lot of details as well. So I think he deserves some mention there. That's Alan Dunlop.
When you
say,
sorry, what you say?
When you say details, do you mean like continuity and things like that?
No, everything. He's an all-rounder. So he's a DOP and he does effects as well. And he did a few effects in this, and he's just a geek like us. You know, so we got 3 geeks, me, Keith, and Alan. Where so
everybody else wondering what you were talking about.
Exactly. But so look who signs that form off, Keith. I know Keith will get it. Me and Keith will get it. Nobody else will get it though. But watch this. Hold on. The next page. I
can't even see it. Okay.
The next page. Who signs it off? Authorized by?
Davis.
Oh, Damien Cruz. Darius Cruz, of course, from Bad Day.
Exactly.
That's Anthony's character in Bad Day. I'd not seen that before.
You're building your own fictional universe. That's what he's doing to everybody. He's dropping you into his own cinematic universe here.
It's the DCU, the Diaz cinematic universe.
That's it.
Yeah. But that wasn't that your spotlight picture, Alison?
I think that was my previous one. Yeah, I've got a new one now. That was the one at the time.
And that's a visual effect, would you believe? That there, she's on green screen right there. Because we forgot to shoot it, so we did a pickup of her putting it in her jacket pocket.
You keep going back to this, don't you, at various junctions throughout the entire series, throughout all 5 parts, that shot of 9 reflected in a camera somewhere. It's all a little bit, it reminds me of Luc Besson and things like that. Is that one of the influences as well?
No.
No.
I've got to admit, no.
The folder again.
Nice reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to live up to I'm the king of the geeks, don't you know?
This is Keith's scene right here, mate.
Yeah, where was Keith. This then?
This was in Alison's uncle's kitchen. Alison, wasn't it, Alison?
Yeah. Yes, in Sunbury-on-Thames.
Yeah.
But he's moved now, so it's no longer his. So we can't use that next time, Ian.
Do something else. But this was as I recall, it was taxing because it was so hot, and Keith was in a 3-piece suit. Look at him, and he was sweating all the time. So, Barbara had to keep wiping his brow, and it was really warm that day. It was incredibly warm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does look like a hot day. And this is Elizabeth Venezia.
I think Katie knows how to pronounce that word, don't you, Katie?
No. Why would I know?
You pronounced it last time. Veneers.
I don't know. Veneers. I don't know.
Katie.
I never actually heard her say it out loud. So.
Nor have I.
So Keith, do bad guys have more fun?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it was fun. I mean, the little joke that me and Ian have sort of between us, if you like, is the fact that Ian's nickname for me ever since he met me was Smiley Keith. Yeah, because he's always known me to be happy and smiley. But interestingly, the characters that I end up playing very rarely smile. So they're always quite evil, and it's always
it's cold
interesting
as ice in here. Cold as ice this time. Yeah, you're a writer as well, aren't you, Keith? So, how, did you get any input into any of the? Anybody get any input into any of the scripts? Did you ever suggest anything to Ian about how to tweak things a little bit, or did you?
Not from my point of view. I mean, to be honest, I kind of knew what Ian was getting at with it, because he and I had been talking about this as a concept for years leading up to this.
Oh, okay.
And you know, obviously all the sort of pop culture references and geeky stuff, you know, I guess. So no, to be honest, it was all there really. And I'd been involved, as I said, through the rehearsal process. So by the time we got to this, I actually knew the script quite well. So yeah, didn't, from my point of view, I don't know about anyone else.
Yeah, I think what is it's a luxury nowadays is rehearsals. If you can rehearse and iron out a lot of the language and stuff like that, and Ian the chance to hear it live, because nowadays nobody, especially on low budget, nobody's got any time. You got to turn up and just do it. You know, you might have a little bit beforehand, and then they just like get on with it. You know. And but with this, we had a luxury of rehearsing, didn't we? And we met.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. It's important to. Actually,
I think so.
Katie's disappeared, by the way, but hopefully she'll come back.
Back on a little while.
Yeah, I think it's really important for rehearsals because it's
vital.
Yeah, it is vital. It is vital. I mean,
Ian's always, as well as, you know, in advance, you'd sort of send it to us and say, if anything doesn't feel natural to you, or, you know, or as your character, let me know. So, you know, if there were sort of some scenes where there's a few lines, we could sort of just talk about it, and you'd let us sort of change it to tweak or something. But unless it was, you know, a pop culture reference or something that, you know, just had to be in there.
Could you relate to your character, Alison?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's like you said, you know, she's just kind of an everyday person going about her life. And I mean, I've never been caught up in a murder.
You surprised me. Why not?
touch wood. But yeah, I mean, I think it's that thought of how do I get out? How do I get myself out of this? You know, how am I here? So I think she is relatable. And no, I think for me as well, I didn't want it to be, you know, one-dimensional. I think every single scene I'm playing scared, and you don't want to be that kind of one looking, you know, rabbit in the headlights, because I kind of was a rabbit in the headlights for most of the scenes. So yeah, I was kind of trying to find the depth with the character as well.
I think you did really well, Alison, if I do say so myself. Actually, it's the director that point you in the right direction, right?
some of the lines are quite funny as well, in a really dry way, and they are the questions that I think a real person would ask if they met somebody like Nyan, whether they knew them before or not. It seems reasonable enough.
I think she's quite fascinated as well by her, isn't she? You know, she's kind of baffled and fascinated. So it's the kind of real mix of emotions.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is that she, you know, she does, once she remembers her, she kind of relaxes a bit, if you know what I mean. So, you know, she was screaming before, and then she realized who she is, and then she kind of relaxes a bit, but the danger is still there anyway. So, so yeah, that's how we kind of played it, really. And her character's really weird because she doesn't feel how terrified Jackie is at all, Rebecca. So that was the idea anyway.
This
is serious.
Sorry, when we were you're talking about this scene. Just saying that when we were discussing it, Katie sort of was saying, you know, but she's upset, and I'd feel this, and Ian obviously saying, but obviously your character doesn't feel that, and it's kind of hard when we were discussing that, wasn't it, Katie?
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, it was that Ian was like, I don't want you to know how she's going to react. I would rather, you know, you not see what she's going to do. Basically, we'll film you first, you do you, and then when Alison does it, you know, she'll do it a different way or whatever. And I was like, I'd rather know, because even if I'm not going to react to it, I'd still like to know what I'm not reacting to, if that makes sense.
but my reasoning was that that's not what I want. So basically, Rebecca's divorced from all kinds of emotions from Jackie. So this is the reason why I shot it that way, because I know you, Katie. You're a very passionate person. If I got Alison to cry in that scene, you'll probably blubber as well. So that's what I was trying to separate you guys from that, you know. So that's why I did it that way. So
yeah.
No, it did work as well after. It's just it's hard, but it was really interesting. And obviously you had a vision, Ian, but we didn't have that vision. So it was an interesting way.
Yeah, I tried to explain it, but I didn't come across very well, I think. But there you go.
No, it did. In the end, it did.
I noticed that Nine does a lot of talking with her hands. She does like flipping the V's, and then she's doing all that business there. Do you do that, Katie? Or is that part of the character too? Is that part of the body language? Is that part of the performance?
I don't flip the V. I remember saying to Ian, "Can I use one finger?" And Ian was like, "No, it's the two. It's like a specific thing for her character." So I don't do that, but I'm quite. I guess I am quite a gestury person with my hands. I use my hands a lot.
This is a hell of a gesture you just out to these eight guys here. You don't mince your words there. No hand signals there, Ian. But this is fascinating here because these people, they don't exist. What's going on?
They're the same people. They're on the left of the screen and the right. So we had to. We didn't have enough men, so we multiplied them by using green screen. So there you go. That's
simpler than it looks to accomplish.
Yeah, it was simple to do. Very simple to do. And this is Ivan. Do you remember Ivan, Katie?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing. He was a camera assistant. So we needed him to dress up like a guard, and he was quite fun actually. Ivan, he was a nice guy. Ivan.
He's a really nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He's a nice
this
guy.
is where it goes a lot. It goes a bit 24, doesn't it?
Yes.
Keith's on the loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
this
this was actually filmed more than a year after that stuff in the kitchen earlier.
Yeah.
So there was quite a gap. There was quite a gap between it.
But the three of you were on location here at the same time. There's no.
Yeah, this was in the car. This was actually in the car park. Wasn't green screen.
Yeah.
Was it always the same car park?
We were discussing the length of our hair, weren't we? Having no idea. Like a year ago, we were like, I don't know how long my hair was. But I think we've got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a little longer here, I think. But
it's because you've got it sort of slicked back, haven't you? The way these nasty sort of killer.
Well, I remember, Katie, we had two different makeup girls for this scene, didn't we? So they slightly got the hairstyle wrong here, didn't they?
Well, my hair was slightly longer then anyway, so it sat differently, I think. But yeah, obviously, if you've got different makeup artists, you know, they're only sort of trying to work off a picture, like. But you know, overall, I don't think it's a big noticeable.
No, it's not. Yeah,
I think it's quite, you know.
So, who has fired a gun in real life then? Keith,
no one.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Oh, Paul has.
Yes, I fired
that very gun.
I used to live in America, so. And I even fired. If you go to Nevada, you can fire fully automatic rifles and stuff. You know what they're like out there. So.
Alison's down. Keith's down.
Yeah. But you know, I mean,
this is the super moment, isn't it, Ian? This is where we find that
she's
the magic of Nine.
Super soldier. She's a super soldier. This is the moment we find out. We was going to use the hand grenade, but Katie broke the hand grenade. So
I'm really clumsy. I broke all Ian's props.
Thank you for breaking the hand grenade.
Go on. We're going to have to pause it at this moment. What's this about the hand grenade? Come on, what's going on? What's the hand grenade story? Because I've heard whispers of this.
Have you? What have you heard?
I've heard that somebody in the cast may be a little bit clumsy.
Yeah. Basically, I'm Mr. Bump, but hiring the equivalent of Mr. Bump to come in and play an assassin. And I basically
the timing, Katie.
With the grenade, I had to throw it. It was like a plastic grenade, and the first time I threw it, I nearly knocked out the camera guy.
So it
And
wouldn't
then
weigh.
another
It wouldn't
time-
weigh much then. It wouldn't weigh much. This.
No, it was quite light, wasn't it? And then
Yeah.
the second time I threw it,
but
it
you
just
had to.
smashed into. I
Oh.
just sort of threw it, and I didn't throw it anywhere near. Ian gave me a point and was like, "Throw it this way," and then it ended up shooting off like the opposite direction.
Well, the night before, me and Alan was talking about the script, and it came up that she was a super soldier, and Alan was saying there's nothing in the whole of this that shows that she's a super soldier, and then we came up with this idea where if she took a hand grenade out, you know, like in the cartoons when somebody's running away and they throw it at a huge distance and then it hits someone as they're running. That's the idea. So she throws the hand grenade, it hits Hamilton on the head, and then that's when she shoots Hamilton and they both split. But Katie broke it. So when we're in post, I had to jiggle the edit around. So when she points a gun, she finds a gap and she shoots him. And then we thought about the bullet coming out of her like Wolverine. So that tells the audience that there's something really odd about this character. Not only is she divorced from emotion, but there's something physically odd about her now that you can see that her body rejects the bullet. So that is going to tell the audience that there's something strange about this girl. So, and I want to know more.
There was some makeup involved, I'd imagine, but a lot of it's done digitally. So both yourself, Katie, who's got this injury, and you, Alison, you're reacting to seeing this demonstration of this sort of almost supernatural. Yo, you never knew. He didn't tell you, Alison.
No.
We're going to play it now. It's the reaction.
Yeah.
I actually can't remember. Did you tell me?
No, in the script.
Look at that.
In the script, you were amazed that she took a bullet for you, and that's why you took her hand. But in this version, this version, obviously, you're amazed that the bullets come out of her, and she saved you. That's why you take her hand. So yeah, that was the idea.
I remember now.
And this looks really precise. This footwork as you. Yeah, he's down. But you wanted this to be very specific, didn't you, Ian? The way that Nine moves.
Yeah,
the killer instincts. Yeah. Moving as little as possible, I suppose. The way a trained assassin would. Is that the?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, she's a super soldier, so she instinctively knows where to shoot. Like that gap between Alison and Hamilton is really small, but she gets it. She gets that shot to separate them both. So she's kind of got super senses or something like that. But the idea is that not even she knows how super she is. You know what I mean? And that's the idea. You know, in comics where they go, I've got powers, I can fly, I've got super strength, and they know exactly what they got. But with Rebecca, she doesn't know. It just as she evolves.
As things happen.
As things happen. Yeah. So that was the idea with her character. So, but yeah. And look, I look like a real director now. I've got the headphones.
I was just going to say, you're giving direction.
Yeah.
Because I think we didn't have rehearsals for this bit, did we? So this was all sort of as we were going, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I remember Ben had to leave, so when we do the reverse on you, Katie, I had to read Ben's bits as well.
Yes.
Do you remember that? So,
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was telling myself to shut up, which was quite interesting.
Oh dear. Yeah.
That's coming up in a minute. But yeah.
Someone in the chat's asking what camera did we use? We used Sony FS100. It's not a 4K camera. It's just a 1080 camera that we used because we couldn't afford 4K. There you go. Mm-hmm. And we used After Effects and Final. I started in Final Cut, and then I ended up finishing it on Premiere. So there you go.
There you go.
The magic behind it all.
yeah.
Magic.
Yeah. But yeah, it was all very interesting. See, you did have a Matt. See there. See, you did have one.
It's been waiting half an hour to point that out.
Yeah.
Happy shoot. It looks like a happy shoot, everybody. It looks like you had fun. There's a degree of sort of fantasy fulfillment involved in some of this. Oh, there's that moment.
That's when Jackie gets it. She suddenly realised that ooh, she fancies me. kind of bit.
Here he is.
Ben?
It's Ben.
there he is.
It's Ben Shockley, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
I actually
exactly.
worked with Ben on another film prior to this.
You see that gun that Ben's holding? That's the gun that we put in Katie's hand originally during rehearsals, and the gun was bigger than her, basically. So,
It looks quite big with Ben.
yeah, it
I
does.
think.
Yeah.
Big gun.
Desert Eagle, I think.
Desert Eagle, yeah.
It looks like a replica of a Desert Eagle.
It's not a Desert Eagle, though.
Oh, isn't it? Oh.
No, it's not. It's not. But Ben needed a chunky gun because he's a chunky guy, isn't he? Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like he could give Phil Mitchell a good hiding.
He's such a nice guy as well.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
a really nice guy. Yeah. So, what did you do with him before, Paul?
Oh, the funny thing is, I didn't know he was on this, and we was in a feature film together, and he played, my wife was cheating on me, and I basically walk in on him, and it's him and her, and then I didn't know, and then next thing I see him, I go, "Oh, you cheated on my wife, didn't you?" Everyone looked round like, no, pretend, trust me.
So this is the culmination of it all now, isn't it? This is the is she bluffing? Is she not?
Yeah.
Is she willing to take herself out to protect her
But do
friend?
you see that Alison's still acting behind her?
Yeah.
I mean, I just found that fascinating because, you know,
Breathing deeply.
What did you expect me to do, Ian?
No, I'm just saying, you know, because like you don't even know if you're in shot.
Oh, God, funny.
In
I did feel
character.
a bit of a lemon standing there, I must say.
You did?
I feel like a bit of a lemon standing there. What shall I do?
Right, yeah.
She's taking it all in, though, isn't it? It's a massive culture shock.
Yeah, she is.
Where's it going to go? What's going to happen? I like how you keep going back to that shot. Oh. Did you always have this? Was this always the title, Ian? Was that? Was it always Rebecca Golden,
That's a nice
not Nine
title.
or anything like that?
No.
Nescafe didn't sound so good.
No. That's a silly question. There he is. Oh.
Oh,
Aw.
good memories. Nice memories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
very
fun.
nice.
Said about it was a fun shoot. It was a fun shoot. All the cast and crew were really nice. Everyone was
Yeah.
nice. It was fun. You know.
It was really nice. Oh, miss you guys.
No,
We should do it again. We should do it again.
And I think Dr. Drew, he's got to have a clone out there somewhere, isn't he, Paul?
Oh no, I get killed in the first season. It's because I'm such a bad actor. They killed me off.
He's the kind of guy who's got a clone. All these evil people have got clones.
I mean, everybody's read season 2, so they know what's going to happen.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, you have to wait and see. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't give spoilers away, can we?
No. No. But yeah, it's all very interesting stuff. But yeah,
It's absolutely fascinating because, this is the thing. Rebecca Gold, when you eventually launched it, how long was it between it finished filming and before it was up on YouTube for everybody to see? Because it was October 2017 you launched it, wasn't it? You dripped it out in an episode a week, wasn't it, Ian?
yes, I did. I think the last 2 episodes I put out at the same time, but I can't remember. The first episode went out, and then we had the screening before the second episode. I remember that. We had a screening in the West End. I can't remember what was the place. Yeah. Where was it, Keith? Do you remember?
Well, I wasn't there.
7
Oh,
Dials.
gosh.
Near the 7
Of
Dials.
yeah.
That hotel near the 7 Dials.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Down in the basement. I can't remember.
Garden Hotel or something.
Covent Garden. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I know it's chucking it down with rain.
Yes,
But
I
I can't
remember
remember what year it was.
that.
By the way, Neil Myers, who's a really close friend of mine that I introduced to Ian for this project, was our amazing composer on this, and he's saying hi in the chat. So he's on the live chat.
Hi, Neil.
Hello, Neil.
Hey, Neil Myers.
Hey, where? Oh, where is he?
We've got several comments. Daniel Leach said, I must have watched this over 100 times. An awesome series.
Wow.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Daniel.
Daniel.
Like it. And yeah, we've got great special effects with the snow and stuff from Culture Casino. And Maria Diaz, is that somebody you know?
That's my sister.
Yeah.
Your sister, so hot in that coat. Several comments there.
Is that my sister? She's here. Jeez.
It looks like it, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is her. All right, Maria.
Hello, various lows. People all delighted to see you all here, and clearly there's a lot of love here for Rebecca Gold. But yeah, this it dropped in 5 parts, didn't it, Ian? There were 5 episodes with the various prologues and things that you put together. You say you put those together several months later and then drop them out before.
Yes, we did. The idea is to try and get people to watch it. So we are a little 1 minute thing, and they'll be interested in it. Didn't really work, really. It didn't work, but it was fun shooting it. So, but
It's common practice though now, isn't it? It's done a lot in marketing in general, in film.
Yeah, we went to Alison's house to shoot her. Do you remember Alison? We went to your place.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, we used your kitchen, didn't we?
we did with your friend Katie. Who's your friend?
Oh yeah, Blanche.
Blanche, yeah.
Yeah. Plays Judy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, so we did that, and we shot that. I read that out of all of them. No disrespect to you guys, I like the Alison one, the Alison prologue. I kind of like that one. That kind of worked better than the other 2, in my opinion, because I even know that I think the prologue for you, for Keith and Paul, it was all about showing Dr. Drew. He was upset because every time he interviewed Rebecca, Rebecca never showed him any respect. Yeah, and plus he suspected that he wasn't getting the right information, so he can treat her. And so he has that argument with Ben, and then Keith obviously steals the file and gives it to Paul, and that's the idea. That's the whole file thing.
Because it's all in the file, isn't it? The journey of the file scattered throughout the whole thing.
And we kind of did that. I mean, that day was a day where we were doing interviews, really, wasn't it? And we just kind of ended up. You sort of said, "Oh, bring your costume, your suit costume," and we kind of ended up just tagging that onto the end of the day, didn't we? That that scene on the fly kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah.
But I think Alison's one is the one. I think it's the most important one because it tells you how Rebecca died. And it tells you where the word boo comes from, and it tells you about how she is. So she's a failed actress. You get the information. She's a failed actress. She owned the restaurant. She doesn't remember Boo. Her friend remembers Boo, and she's basically at the end of her tether because she doesn't have a career and she's depressed, more or less. And that leads into obviously the Peter thing, and then she gets involved in the adventure. But I liked the prologue that Alison did and Blanche did. I think that was more constructed better than the other 2. Not to say the other 2 was rubbish. The other 2.
Well, you wrote it, Ian. We just turned up and put what you wrote.
So all this content drops, and you've had the premiere and all the rest of it. What has the reception been like to the whole project as it's been out there, as people have been watching it? Have you had much feedback from this, Paul, Keith? What have you heard?
Yeah, well, a lot of friends loved it, absolutely liked it, and it was, it's been fantastic from general public, more, like friends that have watched it.
Have you got to play in this kind of world before this? Because Ian's a big James Bond fan. I know that, he's told me. Is this the kind of fiction that you've always been interested in? Is there a degree of fantasy in there with you playing the good guy or the bad guy, Keith? Is it? Oh,
me? Well, yeah. I mean, I am a massive James Bond fan. In fact, if somebody said, if you could play any character, who would it be? Of course, like most men, it would be James Bond. So yeah, I mean, it was quite fun to run around with guns and that sort of thing. It's and get into fights. Apparently, there's no spoilers, but season 2 anyway. Watch out. But yeah, so but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun, and obviously I'd worked with Ian on the feature film Bad Day, which he'd done before. Again, playing a bit of a rotter in a suit. So I hadn't typecast him, but hey.
It wasn't the same suit, was it?
It was not, no.
Alison, where's it going to go next, do you think? They keep talking about doing another one of these. Where do you see these two characters going, Jackie and Nine? Is it going to be Thelma and Louise kind of thing? You think she's going to corrupt her a little bit and drag her into a world, or is it going to be the other way around and it could go a bit birds of a feather and Jackie could give her the spare room or something? Any ideas?
I mean, I've had a sneak peek at the second series, so I won't give too much away. But I mean, yeah, I think Jackie might sort of quite enjoy learning a bit of the martial arts and stuff from Rebecca Gold, and she's got her acting career behind her, so there's always that. But yeah, I think you can definitely see the relationship develop, the friendship. I think there's lots of scope for that, that you can see in the end of series 1. Sorry, I'm really out of breath. Just come upstairs.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, I think it's a really interesting dynamic between the two. That's I think a lot of people have said they'd like to see more. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Definitely.
Watch this space. It's a great dynamic between the two of you, and obviously there's all these geeky references. Katie, you got the lion's share of those, didn't you? they were pretty much all delivered to you, but you're not a geek, are you?
Not in the sense of knowing about that stuff. I was a bit nerdy.
There's no wrong answer to this. It's
I was a bit of a geek. I thought I was a geek at school and stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of quite bookish, I guess. But I guess I'm not a geek in the traditional sense of like
movie geek.
Like,
yeah.
I had to ask Ian for a lot of help with things that some of the quotes and stuff I didn't know. I was like, oh, Ian, what's this mean? What's that mean? What's this? What's that?
Well, seeing as I know, I didn't know that you've all read the script to Rebecca Gold too, that you knew what happened next. So I was going to ask you, Katie, that if you could have a word with Ian, who keeps remembering with all these references to Highlander, what would you ask Ian? What references would you like put in his next script of stuff that you do watch and that you do recognise?
About Friends. I know everything there is to know about Friends.
Okay.
Call Martell, maybe.
I've just started watching Friends again on Netflix. It's a nice read. I love it too.
Aliens.
Friends.
There you go, Friends.
New Girl.
He has got a habit of roping a new girl as well.
I love Aliens.
Yeah, I love New Girl.
Make it funnier. Because he has got a habit, hasn't he, of roping you guys into projects over and over again. From what I hear, you were in Bad Day. Were you? Was one of you in Bad Day?
No, Alison wasn't in Bad Day. Only Keith was in Bad Day.
I went to the screening for Bad Day.
You went to the screening.
Bad Day as well.
Yeah, both of them were there. Yeah. I was. Yeah.
That's the first time I met Ian's brother, and he looks just like Ian. And I went up to him. I was like, "Hey, Ian!" And he looked at me like, "Oh, who's this crazy girl?" And I was like, second to realise it wasn't Ian. And then I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, you're not Ian."
But Richard, he was the soldier that you shot in the car.
Yeah. But that's later. Obviously, then I met him again on Rebecca Gold. He didn't mention that. He was very polite and kind and just acted like I hadn't made a fool of myself at that day.
Yeah, I remember that. You got shot by Katie. There you go.
Well, with a bit of luck, Hamilton and Dr. Drew, they could come back and you could both get the chance to kill him again, give him a good hide again.
Hey, I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead
shot
yet.
in the leg. I got shot in the leg. I'm not dead. I made sure of
I'd have a
that
big
this
hole in
time.
my neck.
Oh, you got a big hole in your neck, yeah. Whoa, look at that.
Hey!
Here we are. This is what I wanted to talk to you about, because this project, it's fair to say, it's not just the people who watch on YouTube. This went down well everywhere, didn't it? Look at that.
It did.
All those
good
awards.
ones,
This
yeah.
is just a few. The Canada Shorts Award, the New Jersey Web Fest, the Mediterranean Film Fest at Cannes, Prisma, Oniros Film Awards. That sounds exotic. That sounds a little bit Greek, doesn't it? The London Independent Film Awards, the Thriller Chiller Award. It just goes on and on and on and on. Nominations, wins, awards. This is pretty impressive stuff, isn't it? You must be over the moon with this, Katie. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really lovely to win, not just for me, I think for the whole team. You know, when we get nominated, it's or if we win, even better. You know, it's a reflection of all the hard work that we all put into the series. So it's really lovely to see that, you know, it's done so well. And it's just lovely. And the New Jersey Web Fest, like Ian went out there to the festival and they filmed him doing his speech and everything, and it was just lovely to watch. It looks like
your favourite, wasn't it?
Your whole face is lit up, and it's really, really lovely to, you know, and yeah, it means a lot.
It was fun. I mean, that was probably the best one out of all of these, the New Jersey Web Festival, which was really good. You know, yeah, I mean, when... So
what goes on at the film festivals then, Ian? You know, obviously for the people who couldn't make it and people who are wondering about it, do all the films get screened
Yes,
and there's a committee, there's a board that looks at them? How does it work?
That's more, it's just like the Oscars, but you don't get any goodie bags.
Did you get a pack of biscuits out of it yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But out of all of them, the New Jersey one was the best one because they had a big ceremony at the ending where all the food was free and you had to dress up in a suit and all that kind of nonsense. And it was really nice. And I didn't win Best Director. Somebody got that, but Katie won Best Actress in New Jersey, and I had to pick up the award for her. So that was quite cool, and I eventually gave it to her as well. Sorry,
did a really good speech.
Oh, cool. Right, there you go. But there you go. So you know, and I think you've won 6 awards. I think was the last count for Rebecca Gold. So, which is interesting. So there you go.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And
So
you've got a good team around you as well, the makeup people, the props people, visual effects people.
The whole thing, like we couldn't have done it without such an amazing, especially when you're working on like a moderate, you know, on a modest budget. You can't do it unless you've got like a whole team that are willing to give 100% to everything. And, you know, from the makeup to the crew, with the cast, with Ian, with everyone, it was just everybody, I think, really gave it everything they could. It makes a big difference.
But even when I was rehearsing with Paul and Katie, I could, you know, like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but you get really frustrated that you didn't get a line right. Do you know what I mean? And you were going 100% on it. You were like, you know what, I gotta get this right. Because some actors you do rehearsals with, they get it wrong, but they're not so upset. But Paul was very upset when he wasn't getting stuff right, you know. And
yeah, it's important because it's your writing, so it's important to get the, you know, every line right. I think, you know, not change it for me, but give you what you want. But what I wasn't hitting right, and I learned this from you, is my pace. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You were saying, "Oh, Paul, you're sucking the energy out of the scene." I couldn't, but I learned that's actually quite true, you know, because there's different styles of different films. So for this, I needed to sort of energy it up a bit, you know, put the energy in there and get the pace right. Yeah. So Katie could respond like that, you know. Yeah. So it's very important that I was trying to hit that mark.
You did.
Well, that leads me to my next question, really. So I was wondering. So we know Rebecca Gold too. We know there's a script for that. Hopefully that's on the way. But if you had a phone call, start with you, Paul. If you had a phone call from Ian, and he says, "Look, I've got your dream project right here. It's ideal for you." What would you hope would be the next words that would leave his lips? What kind of film would you like to make the most?
It's a horror.
The horror?
You don't do horrors, do you?
No, I do.
I
I
love
directed a
horrors.
horror.
Oh, really?
Right, okay.
Ah.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
directed
What one was it? Before
Fallen
Bad Guys,
Angels.
yeah?
There's Fallen Angels with Michael Ironside and Jeff Fahey. I directed
I love
that.
horror films. I'm
Yeah.
a big horror film fan.
She's got a track record. That's gone in the suggestion box. Keith, how about you? What would be your dream project from Ian or from anybody?
Actually, I'm also a massive horror fan as well. So yeah, if he was casting Paul in a horror movie, I'd be up for that as well. You know, I'm just a whore. What can I say? You know.
Alison, what would be your dream project?
I just think my answer is definitely not. I don't think Ian's thing, but I like period dramas and stuff.
Whoa.
But do you know what? I like to act scared, so throw me in for the horror film as well.
We're making it.
It could be a period. It could be a period drama where there's lots of zombies running around or werewolves or whatever else. What do you think about that, Kate? Would you be up for that? What would be your dream project?
I would love to do a period drama. God, that would be amazing. Definitely love to do it. That's on the list. I'd also really love to do like a sitcom, probably, you know, something like Friends, that sort of thing, a long running sitcom.
With a group of people, like an ensemble cast sort of thing?
Yeah.
So it's a period sitcom horror is what we're going to do next.
You can see the wheels turning there. You've only got to look over to Ian and you can see.
Yeah, right.
With loads of pop culture references. Yeah.
What is it about the period drama? Is it the a love of the literature of the time, or is it the costumes and the kind of locations that you get and the old houses and things? What is it with those?
I think it's a bit of everything. Yeah, like you said, all of that really. Everything.
Ambience.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Hear a lot. There was a Pride and Prejudice versus Zombies film, wasn't there? I know that. I've never seen it.
There was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
We can certainly find out for you.
Bronte meets Hammer. There you go.
Yeah. But as I said, it was a fascinating journey, and I can only speak for myself. I didn't find it too taxing at all. The only thing that really worried me was finding that car park, and that was the thing that was the only thing that upset me. Right at the very end of the year, I found the car park, which was a 15-minute walk from my house, and I was looking everywhere. My sister pointed out, she was like, there's a building across where I live. They've got a car park. Why don't you ask there? So I gradually. Perfect, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's where my sister lived.
Piece of the puzzle was that.
It was a big piece, obviously, of the puzzle, because everywhere I went, that we found the perfect car park, which was but they were charging. Why have I got an echo? Have I got an echo?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear Ripley in there.
That's weird.
If you got closer to the screen, it could be a little bit of feedback.
Hello? You see? You can still hear it.
That is
spooky.
You can hear me as well.
It's a time travel movie.
It's bad enough hearing me.
No echo from you, though.
The horror movie started.
No, I was just saying that. So basically, we found this car park, and it was perfect, but it was cost too much money, and there wasn't anywhere to, because you need the facilities as well. There was no place to have a pee. There was the nearest shop was ages away, so I was in trouble. And then my sister just said, "Go to that building, see if they'll let you in the car park." When I went, they were really nice, and they said, "Yeah, you can come shoot it." So yeah, that was the last piece of the puzzle, really.
Just looking over in the comments section, we've got Teresa Martin says at Rebecca Gold and lots of clapping hands. We've got that. We've got more comments from Daniel Leach. Ian is the best director in the UK.
Yes.
And, AFK Bard. You see, you get that one framed. We'll print that out for you later, mate. AFK Bard says, I'm late because I don't understand time zones. But you can go back and you can watch it all again later on. AFK Bard.
Yes.
It'll still be on YouTube on this channel. You can watch and add some comments or whatever. We'll make sure everybody gets to see them. Oh, Ian has a face. Thank you for the invite.
I do.
You guys
I know her.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So,
of course, I have a face.
Yeah. So obviously it goes down well with the geeky crowd, but I was wondering if you'd had much feedback from the gay community over this, because obviously the character of Nyan, that's the blurb, isn't it, to the film, that she's lonely and geeky and gay, and you've got the flashback. Have you ever heard anything back from that? Anybody? Katie?
I had one, but she was really rude. It was someone on Twitter, and I got a private message saying really liked Rebecca Gold, and they went on about how much they liked it, and then he said, "Oh, is Katie gay?" And I wrote back saying, "No, she's not gay." And then I got this other message saying, "How dare you get someone that's not gay to play a gay character? You're just setting us right back." And I was like, "What the hell's this girl on?" Do you know what I mean? And I was like, "What?" You know,
it's called acting, darling, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Katie doesn't have to be gay to play a gay character, but obviously she thinks that, obviously, and that's the only response I've got from someone. Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I think we have it all. I think that about covers it. Rebecca Gold will return. We hope.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the Rebecca Gold channel, why not get over there? Let's get it up. I don't know how many subscribers it's at the moment, Ian.
I think we need 6 people to go to 1,000. Just 6 people.
Yeah, I keep telling people to subscribe when I meet them, and I'm like, please just subscribe to the channel, give it a whirl. But yeah,
I know Paul subscribed to it. You subscribed, didn't you, Paul?
I'm not subscribed.
So if you've enjoyed this stream, if you haven't seen Rebecca Gold, go back and watch it. Then come back and watch this again. Like and subscribe and share the Rebecca Gold channel, all the wonderful, the entire web series, and all those prologues, and the work of all these people, and the people that we haven't spoken to this time, the people behind the scenes, and the rest of the cast. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for more Rebecca Gold. We're going to keep pressing in on that for more information. Hopefully when things turn around a little bit. We're living in unprecedented and uncertain times, and fantasy and escapism like this, it's a real tonic for the people who watch it, certainly I would imagine for the people who perform it as well. And I suppose it's time for me to plug me too. If you've enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe and share the Spacebook channel. I'm Dan Hadley. This is where I live. We'll no doubt be getting Ian back again at some point. Keith, I understand you're a podcast. Do you want to tell people about that, what you do and where you do it?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I've got a couple of podcasts in terms of a podcast archive. I've got a podcast called Movie Heaven, Movie Hell, which there's about 150 episodes looking at all sorts of different movie franchises and talking about directors old and new of the history of cinema, which is called Movie Heaven, Movie Hell. It's co-hosted with Simon Aitken. And also I have a Star Trek podcast called Let's See What's Out There. We've done an episode for every episode of Star Trek Picard, which is recently shown. And from the very few listeners that we've got so far, they want us to carry it on. So we're going to have guests looking at other aspects of Star Trek. I know Ian's coming on at some point, hopefully yourself too. And that can be found. That's called Let's See What's Out There. It's on all the podcast platforms. Neil Myers, by the way, does the music to that as well. And if you want to see any of my films, if you go to YouTube and put in British Isles, as in my last name there, wherever it is, that's EYLES. You can see half a dozen short films that I've written, produced, and directed myself, and I'm in one of them. So that's all my plugs out the way.
Lots of content. We'll get some links from you. We'll drop those into the show notes as well, so people will be able to find those with the video after they watch it. We'll push it all around, and the podcast too. I'd be delighted to come on. Yeah, I've heard talk that you don't like Doctor Who, so I think we could. I could go on for quite some time. I hate to say this, Paul. Where can people see more from you or hear more from you? What are you doing next? What have you just done?
That's you, Paul. That's you, Paul.
I've shot a couple of feature films, A Song from the Dark and a film called Sensation. and it's kind of like Sensation's biggest budget for me. So that's supposed to be coming out this year. So that'll be in the cinemas and stuff. I've just got one scene there. I deliver a secret agent.
Ah, you're a secret agent.
Yes, I'm black. It's a bit like that.
All right, cool.
Sounds good.
And I was supposed to shoot. I was down to the final auditions to do a TV series in China.
Right.
Playing a customs officer in a TV show out there, but it's been postponed. That was going to be at Christmas, and then also got postponed. They said, "Do you mind waiting until like May or something?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why? What's going on?" Like sort of thing, and then this is happened.
Yeah.
So, what's going on at the moment? So,
Fingers crossed it still happens for you, Paul.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Uncertain times, and everything's up in the air, isn't it, Alison? It's Easter weekend's coming up. What have you got planned over the Easter weekend, and what else have you got coming up, and where else can people see you or hear from you?
Well, it's all gone very quiet my end, but busy at home because with the 2 kids. So they'll be keeping us busy this weekend. They're actually camping in the garden tonight. So
Wow.
I'm going to go and join them in a second.
Easter egg hunts.
Easter egg hunts, definitely. They've been painting today, painting some big Easter eggs. So yeah, we're having lots of fun. But career-wise, yeah, obviously it's all very quiet. I guess I could plug my. I did a little YouTube channel myself a while back now, but it's called Cecilia's Mummy Vlog, and it's a satirical character. And yeah, she's a very annoying character, but it's a bit of fun. So you can take a look at that. Thank you.
Definitely get the link to that as well. We'll put that down in the comments section as well, so people can catch hold of that. Cecilia and Katie, what's going on with you? What are you doing next? What have you just done? Have you got anything in pre or post production while all this?
I've got a film in post production called Give Them Wings, which is about it's a real life story about a guy called Paul Hodgson who caught meningitis as a baby, and it left him in a wheelchair, and they said he wouldn't live past 5, and he did, and so it's his life story, and I play his mum's carer in the film and his love interest, and the mum's played by Tuia Wilcox, and the whole thing was shot in Darlington and over Christmas, and it was really fun to do. And stuff that I've got out, you can see something called Heretics, which is a horror, which Keith's seen. Yes. I was like, oh, Fright Fest, that was it, yeah. So that's out. I think that's on Amazon, and it was on Sky a little while ago. And also there's a film called Together, which is about an elderly couple separated by the care system. And that's Peter Bowles and Sylvia Sims, and I play their social worker in the film. And that's on Amazon. And I have a web series that's on YouTube called Match Not Found, that I co-wrote and co-created with a friend, Alex Oates, and you can check that out on YouTube.
Wow, she's doing more work than all of us.
Like, that's a lot. Some of that stuff's already out and been out a little while. So
that sounds lovely. Well, make sure to get all those links down there. Well, look, Katie, Alison, Paul, Keith, and Ian, of course, the Mega Geek. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had a blast. I hope you have too. I was kicked off your Easter week.
Thank you.
Going through over this fantastic project, and sincerely, there are people out there watching and waiting for more Rebecca Gold. Ian, we're going to have to.
I'll do my best.
An excuse to get you back on, won't we, sooner rather than later. For now.
Okay.
Yeah, that covers it. Thank you for your company, and thank you for watching. Add some comments. Let us know if you'd like to hear more from the cast and team behind Rebecca Gold, and what you follow up some of those links and what you think of the other content too. We all like a bit of flattery now and again, don't we, everybody?
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and share. Stay safe, everybody, and have a great Easter. Thank you for watching.
Ta-da! Bye.
Happy Easter. Bye-bye.